Bienvenidos and welcome to everyone. Thank you for being with us this morning for this joyful celebration. The first reading today, we hear about the call of Samuel. A young boy, God speaks to him, calls him by name, and he responds, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." And that's why we're here today, because the Lord spoke to another young man, a little bit older than Samuel, named Michael, whose now religious name is John Joseph, and it's Michael. And he responded, he said, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." And so that's the mystery that we're here to witness and celebrate, this call of God. We see the same, really, reality in the gospel today. A beautiful reading from John. Jesus says, "As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you." That's an amazing thing, he says. The very love of God is an infinite love. It's eternal. We can't even begin to understand the greatness of that love. And that's the same love that he loves us, each one of us. And he says to the 12, "It's not you who have chosen me, I chose you to go, to abide in my love, to go and bear fruit." And so they were called and they responded. Same thing with the life of St. Francis, our founder. The Lord called him to follow him in a certain way, the path of poverty, especially prayer and penance, and brotherhood. And he was the founder of a large family. To this day, new members, a new son born today in the family of St. Francis. And so, again, Brother John is trying to respond to the call of the Lord. But it's not just those called to religious life or to be apostles or bishops or priests, but every single person is called. Each one of us, the Lord speaks to our heart, calls us by name. What was the message of the Second Vatican Council? An important part of the emphasis of this great work of the Holy Spirit in our time was the universal call to holiness, which is union with the Lord. It's to be one with God. That's what it means to be alive, is to be in union with God, to enter into His life, His communion of persons in love and truth. And so that's what each one of us has to have, those words in our hearts. "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." The word for obey comes from a word that means to listen. Years ago, before I was a friar, I was in the Navy. The Navy has its own kind of language for everything. It's all based on ships. But they teach you when you receive an order, you don't say "yes, sir." You say "aye, aye, sir," or "ma'am." And that means you say "aye, aye" because it means I heard you. I heard what you said. And I understand what you said, and I will do it. I will obey it. Aye, aye, sir. And so that's what the Lord calls us to enter into His life, what it means to live according to His will. That's why He says, "Abide in my love. If you abide in my love, you will keep my commandments. You will be living in the will of God." We all have obstacles, right? We struggle in the world today. It's kind of ironic that one of the biggest obstacles to receiving the call of God is our telephone, right? We receive calls from everybody in the world, but nobody has time to listen to God's call. It's like, not available. Please leave a message. So we have to make time for prayer, right? So that we can listen to the voice of the Lord within us. And it's so sad. You look at the statistics, which I don't know very well, but just occasionally read about how many people are falling away from God, from the church, for practicing their faith. And it's really kind of shocking. More and more people are in this category of ex-Catholics, or nuns, they call them, no religion, no preference. because they're not listening to the call. There's some kind of obstacle. They're not available. And so how important it is for us to be a witness to this call. That's what God calls some of us. Brother John today, we will receive the habit as part of the ceremony of the vows, which is a sign of his consecration, is his giving of himself to the Lord in this unique way. But the religious life is to be a visible witness to the world. So when a person sees a religious, a consecrated man or woman, and to be reminded that person was called by God to give their life totally to him in this unique way, in vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. But again, everyone is called to give their life totally to God. It's just different vocations. And that word vocation, because it means a call. So we look to our Blessed Mother. If you notice, there's a little detail in the first reading. Samuel's in the temple when he's sleeping, and the Lord calls him. And he's sleeping next to the ark. The ark is a symbol of the Blessed Mother. Because the ark was the place where God dwelled. And Mary is the Ark of the Covenant. Because the God-man dwelled in her body, physically. Samuel's original call was the call into being. When God creates each person, that's the first call. He said, let there be Michael. And there was Michael. And that's the first covenant. And then we're again in baptism. And then whatever our vocation might be in life. But that call always comes through a woman, a mother. There's a maternal mediation. Samuel's mother was Hannah. The song of Hannah. It's very similar to the Magnificat of Our Lady. My soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord. That's why in our community we're very blessed. We make a fourth vow of consecration to Jesus, but through the Immaculate Heart of Mary. It's just recognizing that this is the way God works. We want to cooperate with that. That He gives life and He nurtures life through the woman, through a mother. And that's why I just want to, I'm sure many of you do this already, but just strongly recommend that you make a commitment to pray the Rosary every day. I'm so glad Father Sean thought of the idea of praying the Rosary before Mass. St. John Paul II is one of my heroes. He wrote a beautiful letter on the Rosary. I highly recommend you read it if you've never read it. And it's all focused on contemplation, contemplating the face of Jesus with the eyes of Mary, in the school of Mary. Mary knows Him better than anyone. So she, as us as her children, she teaches us how to see the beauty of God and His face. So the Rosary is like Jesus' Facebook page, right? So we go there, we get to know Him. We enter into relationship with Him. We give ourselves to Him. We hear His voice, His call. And it's a practical way to just, okay, I'm giving this time to Him.